Hold up, I am on my way, I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 20 coastal solar light DIYs for you using items from the Dollar Tree. You guys loved my first solar light video, so I told you guys I'd make another one, and this is it. For the first DIY, you just need an empty bottle of soda. I'm going to try it first with one of the smaller, just regular size bottles of soda and a Dollar Tree solar light. And I saw this idea online. I wanted to try it. My son said that he's home from college. He had the great idea of making jellyfish solar lights. He always has the best ideas. And so I wanted to try it with a bottle. So I just took the label off and cleaned it off. And then what I'm going to do is just paint stripes on it. So I'm using my Posca paint pens. I love these. These are really good paint pens. They're permanent, and as you can see, they're really easy to use. And I'm using like kind of a sky blue color and just kind of making lines along the sides of the bottle. And then I space those apart about 1 inch, and so about halfway through each one, I'm going to go through with like this more aqua color. I've really been working on my Posca paint pen collection. I think I have just about every shade right now. I absolutely love these things. So I just alternated one of those in each one to paint the tentacles, kind of alternating different colors of blue. And then you just need to cut the top off the bottle. I start with just a razor blade and then just go in with my scissors and just cut the top off of the bottle. I made the stripes go about all the way to the end of where I think that the tentacles will go. And then the bottom of the soda bottle will become the top of the jellyfish. It's also going to hold the solar light. I am going to go ahead and poke some holes in the plastic first. I'm just using my Cricut weeder and a lighter to get it hot so I can kind of carve through that plastic. It actually worked surprisingly well doing it this way. I want to poke like 2 holes in the bottom of the bottle so I can like string some twine through there to make a hanger. If you want to make yours where it's like you can't really see it, you could always use fishing line, but I don't really care. I'm actually going to use these to like hang these like in trees and bushes, and so I don't really care if it's twine. I just feed it through the top like that inside the bottle where I can pull it through, and then I can just tie it together to form a hanger for our first jellyfish light. We're going to do a couple of these, a couple different varieties, and they were so much fun to make. These would be a great DIY to get like the little kids involved with too. I made my hanger a little bit shorter. Mine was a little bit on the long side. And then I'm just going to start cutting my jellyfish tentacles. What I'm doing is just cutting in the clear part of the bottle between my stripes. So I guess each one of the tentacles is probably about 1/2 inch. I didn't really measure it, just kind of estimating it. And I do that all the way around. Now I'm going to be putting the top of the solar light up into the top of the jellyfish. So really the only thing I'm going to need is the very, very top of it. So I'm just going to kind of take it apart and then put it in there and melt the plastic around it. That's going to keep it in place. So I put it all the way in the end like that. This is just a regular soda bottle, so it's got like those bumps like on the bottom of it. That's going to be what the top of this jellyfish looks like. And then I gather all the tentacles together like that. And just using my heat gun, I am going to melt that plastic, kind of shrink wrapping the solar light in place. You don't have to use any glue or anything like this. And I got this idea from another YouTube video. I will try to remember to link it down in the description. I thought it was a really fun idea. So now the tentacles, you can see, are starting to kind of bend already on their own, just from a little bit exposure to the heat. And I'm going to bend them more, make them curly like jellyfish tentacles, but I don't want them kind of like all going every which way. So I actually just put a bottle in the middle. It's just like some adhesive remover. It doesn't matter what it is, just something to keep them kind of on the side where I want them to be. And I just go around with my heat gun, and as you can see, they melt and curl into like fun little tentacle patterns, just like that. And I really like using like the two different colors. It kind of differentiates them a little bit. Mine were a little tangled, and as you can see, they melt quite shorter than you would think. So this is kind of a small jellyfish. I'm also going to be showing you a larger option on this one, but it actually turned out pretty good. Just making sure everything is about the same length. You can always trim them if you want. I really like the tips of mine all curly like that. I think that gives like the jellyfish vibe. And then I thought maybe I should add a few details to the top of the solar light too. You can see the metal through there, but I'm just going to use those same blue colors. Just do some polka dots around, something simple. And maybe even like a little bit on the top. And then for my other color of blue, I just kind of came in and did some squiggly lines. Something fun. Doesn't have to be that crazy. And a few polka dots on the top. And that's it. That's all there is to it. Our first solar light DIY. It is a tiny little jellyfish. So let me show you. This is what it looks like during the day. So I don't know if it's super obvious this is jellyfish during the day. But I'll also show you what it looks like at night and what it kind of looks like outside hanging in the bushes like in front of my house. I think it's really fun. But here you can kind of see with the solar light lit up how it's going to shine down on all of the little jellyfish tentacles and make them glow. Super whimsical and fun and very inexpensive. Just a recycled bottle and a $1.25 solar light from the Dollar Tree. And this is what it looks like hanging outside. This is the small jellyfish. And since the tentacles shrunk up so much, I decided I wanted to try to make a larger jellyfish to go with it by using a larger bottle. And here's another little sneak peek of that, all lit up. I think it looks great outside, and I can't wait to display it. So this is another bottle. This is a 1 liter. So you could do it with a soda. I thought maybe the Smart Water bottle would be good, or a water bottle in general, because it's flat. There's really not a lot of shape on this. So my tentacles will be all kind of straight before I curl them up. Now, the water bottle label left a lot of residue on there, but it was super easy to remove with some of that. It's kind of a new kind of glue gun material that they have from Dollar Tree, and I use that to clean up the bottle, and we can start DIYing this one. I'm going to switch up the colors. I'm going to use that same like sky blue color, but I'm going to mix it up with some of this like dark blue to kind of give this one a different vibe. And then just starting a couple inches from the bottom, I work my way up to the top with another 1 inch like tentacles, kind of alternating those around, making sure my line is nice and thick. So you're going to be able to see that coloring on the tentacles. And I actually like that color a little bit better than the first one that I used. Really shows up well at night. And then I just go in, and every half an inch, I guess, I do the light blue to do the tentacles on this one. And it doesn't have to be perfect, just adding some color to add some fun to the jellyfish tentacles. And out of the 2 DIYs I did prefer this one better, the longer bottle. It did make longer tentacles, really gave you that jellyfish effect. So again, all you have to do is poke a hole right about here and cut off the top of your water bottle. And then I'm going to poke holes in the top of this one, which is the bottom of the bottle, like I did before. This worked really well. The Cricut weeders are pretty sharp. You could use probably about anything you have that's going to have a sharp, pointy surface on there. But getting it hot definitely works well. I know a lot of people do this with their hot glue gun, but my hot glue gun tip does not seem to get that hot. And then I'm just going to feed the twine in to make a hanger for this one. I'm going to display both of these together. They're so cute. I think I might make some more just because they're so whimsical and fun. And, you know, the solar light will be protected inside the bottle, so I think it'll last a long time. So just like before, I'm going to cut like 1/2-inch strips. So I'm just cutting about halfway between my blue lines all the way up, leaving a couple of inches there in the top for the solar light. And you're just going to want any of the round solar lights. I found that the regular size like this solar light from the Dollar Tree fit in this 1-liter bottle a little bit better than it did on the smaller one. Because it's kind of got a flatter bottom and you can kind of push it all the way up. It's nice and wide. So just like before, I pop it in there, and then I'm just going to kind of shrink wrap it in there. Get the tentacles out of the way, but just trying to shrink wrap it, make it hold it strong, and the recycled plastic is really easy to melt. I was surprised at how well this worked. I'm thinking you could probably do the same thing with a blow dryer. I'm not sure if a blow dryer is quite as warm, but it was really easy to do with a heat gun, and they're so inexpensive. I got mine on Amazon. I think I have the one I use linked below in my Amazon shop. I really love this one. I've went through quite a few of these, and this is definitely my favorite one. So again, I just popped a bottle in the middle just to kind of keep a little bit of semblance of my tentacles going every which direction. And then I just start running the heat up and down them until they start melting into all kinds of curly, crazy tentacle patterns. And they're all a little bit different, the way that they go and the way that they melt. It's really kind of fun, kind of unpredictable, and probably every single one of these you make would be a little bit unique. And it's a great way to recycle a bottle, and you're only using that $1.25 solar light, so super inexpensive to make. You can make as many of these as you want. I'm just trying to get mine curled exactly the way I like it. And then I like how I decorated the first one a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here. We're going to do like maybe a different like little polka dot pattern around. And I can do some polka dots here on the top as well. And then maybe some squiggly lines. Maybe I'll go up and down this time. But again, just adding those same blue colors that I added everywhere else. And a jellyfish can have any kind of a pattern on there. They're really quite beautiful. And they do glow up, you know, a lot of the bioluminescent ones. And that's how it turned out. So this is a larger version of the jellyfish. A solar light, the tentacles are much longer. I wonder what it would look like if you could do, I don't know, a 2-liter bottle would probably be too big. But it's an option. Maybe even if you had a larger solar light, that would be good. But this is how the tentacles look lit up. And their fun curvy pattern down there. And you can see how well the top of it like did a shrink wrap in the plastic water bottle. And the hanger works great. I made them nice and long so I can hang them from this tree outside my house. And this is what the two of them look like together. Aren't they so cute? I really love them. They really kind of look like sculpted glass, like blown glass. And they don't look like water bottles at all. But I thought they were really fun. What do you guys think about the jellyfish solar lights? If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. I really would appreciate it. Okay, the next DIY, I picked up one of these fancy solar lights from the Dollar Tree and one of the Shore Living fish bottles in the teal color. I really love this solar light. I used this in my last solar light video a couple of weeks ago to make nautical pilings out of fun noodles, and it turned out so cute. I love the pattern that this provides, but I don't think the black itself is coastal, so what we're going to do is take it apart and paint it. I thought if I painted it white or like an ivory color, it's going to make it look so much more coastal. I'm just cutting out a piece of cardboard from a pizza or a soda box just to cover the solar light part there. It's just a little bit easier way to tape that down so that I can go in and paint these. I'm going to spray paint because that's going to be so much easier to get in the solar light and all the pattern on there. And I'm just going to paint it this sand dollar color. It's kind of a cross between white and ivory. It's pretty light. It's definitely coastal looking. And I'm just spraying it to get it in the pattern, then going ahead and attaching the pole. I'm going to go ahead and use that. That's going to come in handy for this DIY. And I'm also going to spray the inside because you can kind of see through it a little bit so that the whole thing is going to look ivory. I'm going to do this same thing here with the top. And I'm only painting like the very top of that. The inside of it can be black. You're not really going to be able to see that part of it. And the humidity is back in Florida because the spray paint was taking forever to dry for me. That always drives me crazy with all the humidity. So I'm going to pop the lid back on this. It looks really pretty. It looks a lot different this color, doesn't it? And this already has like a white fish on the front of it tied to it. So I think that's going to look really cute. I want to kind of put it in like this and make a little light fixture, but I want to weigh it down a little bit. Just with some pebbles. I have some blue pebbles. It doesn't really matter, and I can be able to see them. And I'm just going to put those inside the bottle just to weigh it down. Just because it's going to be outside, I don't want it to blow over. It's also going to give me something to put the post of the solar light into. So I just put that in there, work that down inside the gravel to hold it in place. I don't need to use really any glue or anything. It's a pretty tight fit. I think it's going to stay in place. And it just made a really pretty coastal light. Let me go ahead and remove the cardboard. It does leak a little bit doing it that way, but it's definitely easier than taping it off. But I cleaned it up, and this is how it turned out. Now, it's pretty during the daytime, but at night, it just gives the most magnificent pattern. It's so pretty for a Dollar Tree solar light. And again, this is just one of the Shore Living bottles. If you can't find this exact one, if you could find any of the blue ones, I think that's going to be really pretty and coastal. And look at that pattern. I absolutely love that. So I have the nautical pilings in front of my house with this beautiful pattern. I'm going to have to put this one, I think, out on my back porch somewhere. But I think that the white was definitely a good idea to repaint it. It definitely looks way more coastal than it did in the black plastic. Now, this is a new solar light I've never seen before at Dollar Tree. I was so excited to pick it up. It's got like a little square lantern that's got solar-powered twinkle lights in it. And it also comes with the post, the hook, everything you need. So for $1.25, I thought that was a great deal. I'm going to give mine a little bit of a coastal makeover. Again, it's black plastic, and I'm not a big fan of that for coastal, so we're going to paint it. I just went ahead and took it apart, took the little plastic part out, and these are all the pieces to the pole and stuff like that. I'm going to suspend mine in just a Dollar Tree metal bucket, a blue one. I thought that would look nice and beachy, but you could always suspend this in a plant pot or your landscaping. It's definitely tall enough. And we're just going to go ahead and spray paint this. I'm going to spray paint it this same color that I did the last one with that sand dollar spray paint. And first I'm just going to tape off the little twinkly lights so they don't get paint on them. And I need to paint kind of all of the pieces to this. So I'm going to need to paint the top. So again, I'm just cutting some more of that cardboard down to cover that up, tape that on top. And I'm going to cover like the box of the lantern. I'm also going to be painting the pole and stuff like that. So everything looks that ivory color. And that combined with that beachy blue pale, I think is going to look really cute and coastal. So again, this is an ultra matte. I really prefer the matte spray paints over the glossy. I just think it looks a little bit more coastal. Trying to give that a good coat of paint with the hanger like kind of standing up so I can get that painted on both sides. And then I'm painting the little basket of the lantern. It was really easy to take all of this apart to paint it and give it a different vibe. If you like the black, it's really cute in black as well. But if you're going for a coastal vibe, I just don't think black really goes with it. So I just put together the plastic pole for it, like that, and I'm going to go ahead and paint that as well. While I've got the spray paint out and my box, This box has been in a lot of videos now. It might be getting worn out. I'm going to have to find something else to paint in. It's really hard to find a box that will fit on my workspace under my camera where I can show you guys everything, because I hate having to take everything outside and then you guys don't get to see the whole process. So here is the hook that holds it. I'm going to go ahead and spray paint that ivory as well. And I'm going to kind of spray paint everything except for the very stake part of it, because you won't be able to see that. I actually end up not even using that part of it. I'm going to flip over the lantern and spray paint it again. That way I can get all of the inside of the lantern too. And that looks way better. Let me get a little bit over on this side and just trying to make sure I have everything painted. I also painted kind of on the inside lip of the top of it as well, anywhere that might be visible. And now it is time to try to get these dry and put this together. I was having impatience because I needed to get this video out because my son and I are going to Universal tomorrow. So the day you're watching this, my son and I will be at Universal celebrating summer vacation. He has 1 week off before summer school starts. And we are going to be enjoying ourselves at Universal Orlando. So I filled the tin pail up with just some rocks I had from Dollar Tree and some gravel. And then I'm going to top it off with sand. That way it looks like a beachy bucket full of sand and shells is what I was going for. But I wanted it to be way down because it's going to be outside too. And then I need to put my pole in there. I was trying to decide if I should have put my pole in there first before I put the rocks in there. And I probably should have. I tried it first with the stake. And I really wasn't getting anywhere with it. So I'm actually going to remove that. And I lost some of my sand down in the gravel, but I just went ahead and removed the stake, kind of worked that down into the rocks so that uses that to stand it up to kind of make it sturdier. And I'm just going to have to replace the sand that kind of all went down in it. I'm going to secure it with a little bit of hot glue, and then I'm just going to use some Dollar Tree tan sand for the top. Now, if you're worried about losing your sand for the top, you can always use some adhesive spray glue. They do have that at Dollar Tree that you can kind of spray on there, kind of help keep your sand in there. I'm just going to kind of skip it and just let it be sand. I can always replace it if I need to. And then just some seashells from my stash. I'm going to use some larger ones and scatter those around so it looks like a little beach bucket with sand and seashells inside of it. Makes it look really coastal. I slide in the little plastic cube back inside the lantern. And then I just have to untape my twinkle lights. So this is a solar light, but the solar light, instead of just having one light, has all these little twinkle lights. So I really can't believe this was only $1.25, a really good deal. And I'm just going to put those down back inside it. And the lid just twists on, it screws on like a lid. And we can remove the cardboard from the top, clean up any of the excess. It's got the little hanger on there already, and then I can just hook that on the loop. This turned out so cute and beachy and really versatile. You could use this so many different places. I think I might use this on the table next to my front door. But look how pretty it looks in that white color. And the little beachy pail of seashells and sand really complements the coastal look. Here it is lit up at night. It was kind of hard to get a good picture of this one, but look how pretty that looks. I think this is going to look really good outside. And I was really impressed with how well it turned out. It seems fairly sturdy. And again, it's made out of plastic, so if it does tip over, nothing's really going to happen with it. Now for the next DIY, these are new this year with the Shore Living line, the little message in a bottle, and I thought that would be the perfect, easy solar light. I got this one. It's kind of the more turquoisey teal color one. They had different colors. I'm just going to put some sand in the bottom of it. I'm still going to do the message in the bottle. I think that's really cute. But I thought adding some sand and some of those little tiny seashells from the Dollar Tree in the bottom is going to make it look even more coastal. This is the little message in a bottle. It's perfect. It's got like a little plastic seashell on it and some twine wrapped around it. And then this is actually the solar light from Dollar General. If you'll notice, it's a lot smaller. It has an on and off switch, and these are only $1. So if you can't find any that are the right size at Dollar Tree, be sure to check Dollar General, because I kind of like the smaller size for this one for a more slender bottle like this. And the on and off switch is great too if you have it where you can kind of get to that. But I'm going to hot glue mine on, kind of make it more permanent. And then I'm going to add some twine here to the neck of the bottle. I'm just going to tie that on and wrap it around just to give it another little fun little beachy touch. I wrap it around until I'm happy with it and then just glue down my loose end. And I put seashells in the bottom. There's a seashell on a little message in the bottle, but you can't have enough seashells. So let's add a few more here to the twine. I'm just going to hot glue some on here. This is just going to be a standing solar light. If you wanted to hang it, it'd be super easy to make a twine hanger and attach it to the twine that you wrapped around the neck of it. But I found these a little bit later than the other Shore Living items. They came in late at my stores. So if you haven't seen these yet, be sure to check your Dollar Tree because they're so cute. Little message in the bottle. And I think this is going to make a perfect little coastal solar light. Between my last video and this video, I think I'm all set on solar lights for summer. This is what it looks like. It's super cute during the daytime. And then let me show you how it looks lit up. It actually gives you like a pretty cool pattern there. And I love the blue tint of the bottle. I think that's really pretty. And the little message inside is super cute. And the Dollar General size of the solar light works really well there on the top. It's almost the perfect width. It almost looks like a water bottle lid like that. Now for the next one, I picked up a square jar from Dollar Tree and some of the Shore Living starfish. And I want to make a really cool little kind of starfish lantern. I'm going to tint it with some of this Krylon sea glass, sea foam. I had a big trouble finding that. I actually ended up finding it at Hobby Lobby. Some of you guys were saying that I think Home Depot or Lowe's might have it. I wasn't able to find it anywhere, so I ordered mine online because we don't have a Hobby Lobby. And I can post a link to it below. I got a couple of bottles of it because I think it's perfect for coastal. You can frost in that beachy, like bluish green color, and it looks so coastal. So I turned my jar. It's right side up. I'm actually going to use it upside down in the process, but I don't want to get any of the frosting on the bottom of the glass because that is where the solar light's going to be located, and I want it to be able to be exposed to the sun without any of the frosting. So I just go all over all the sides. I gave it a pretty healthy coat of frosting. I really wanted that beautiful greenish color to shine through. And I thought it would be a fun background that can light up with the solar light, but it's going to look great behind the Dollar Tree starfish. So I just take the solar light and do some hot glue on the plastic sides and just sit it inside, gluing it to the bottom of the jar. That's going to be the top. And then I don't really need the stakes or the plastic light part, so I just removed those and screwed the jar lid on. And so the bottom or the top of it, the light will still be able to come through and charge it. It's also going to protect the solar light, make it last longer. Now for the starfish, I'm just using one of the Shore Living starfish, hot gluing that to the front. I think that looks really pretty. And then I'm going to add some rope to the top and to the bottom to give it more of a coastal touch. I also didn't really like that you could see the hot glue there. I might not have been the cleanest, and maybe a different kind of glue might work better there, but I'm going to kind of mask it. You won't be able to see it, but I again don't want to cover up the panel for the solar light, so I left that part open. And I'm just using the Dollar Tree brown rope, the thinner rope, and spiraling that around. I'm going to cover all of the clear part on the top of the jar. Kind of make like a little bit of a rope lid for this light fixture. Just kind of having it start and stop the rope right here on the back of it. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the lid jar to kind of make the bottom of it have that rope too. And just one around is going to be plenty for this. Again, I start and stop on the back and just attach that with hot glue to the metal lid for the square jar. And that's what it looks like so far. I wanted to raise it up though, and I thought one of these would work great. These are like the concrete candle holders from Dollar Tree. And I'm actually going to use it upside down. It's kind of white and chippy, like concrete. But I like that. I think that looks coastal, and I think that's going to look really fun with this. So I just removed the label from the bottom. I'm going to have it upside down like this. So the jar is upside down, the candle holder is upside down, and I hot glue the metal lid to the jar onto the candle holder, and it's going to give it a nice heavy base to be outside. It's like a concrete material, so it should hold up well to the elements, and this is how it turned out. Isn't that frosting so pretty? It's like sea glass, and I think it's so pretty. This is what it looks like during the daytime. So it's really pretty, even during the day. Definitely has a coastal feel to it. And then let me show you how it looks lit up at night. That frosting, I think, looks really pretty. And the starfish is perfect. You could also use the Shore Living sand dollar. That would be really cute on there as well. You could even do a set of them. I love it. I think it turned out really cute. Okay, for the next DIY, I picked up one of the tall vases from Dollar Tree Plus. These are $3, but they're really big. And then one of the little beautiful jars from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to make a lighthouse. I've done another version of the lighthouse. This is how I'm going to make this one. I'm going to have that jar on the top for the light, and I'm going to have the vase upside down for the lighthouse part of it. So this is going to be a way larger version than the one that I made in my last video a couple of weeks ago. So if you want a smaller version, be sure to check out that video. I will have that video linked at the end of today's video. I'm going to frost this one again with the sea glass. I think that turned out really pretty. And so this has like a great like pattern. I think it's going to look really pretty lit up at night and provide a nice light pattern when it's lit up. But I thought it would be more special if I tinted it. So I'm tinting it that sea glass green color. But I just kind of do a light coat all over. Nothing crazy. Again, because my spray paint was taking forever to dry. And then for the vase part, we're going to have it upside down like this. I'm just going to go ahead and remove the adhesive here from the bottom, so that will be nice and clean when I go to attach the light part to the top of my lighthouse. And we're going to cover it with some of the faux leather from Dollar Tree. I love working with this stuff. It's so easy. And I am just going to cover it. As you can see, even though it's the extra large vase, the faux leather is plenty big enough. I cut out a piece that's a little bit larger so I can kind of overlap that. And since the vase is straight up and down, it was really easy to attach this. There was no weird angles or anything like that. And I think this is going to be a really cute option for an outdoor solar light lighthouse. I just hot glue kind of my cut in first. That way you won't be able to see that. And my straight edge, I'm going to use that as my outer edge and hot glue that, overlapping that with the leather. I lined it up there with the bottom. I guess it would be the top of the vase. And then it's going to be a little bit long, so we are going to need to trim it down here at the top because I kind of want just glass on the top of it so I can glue glass to glass when I go ahead to put this together. So as you can see, it's really easy to cut the faux leather, and I think that's a great starter piece for it. But of course, I want to have some stripes. Now, you can always do like horizontal stripes. I'm actually going to do diagonal stripes, so I'm going to paint them on. You could also use ribbon if you had like a cool leather ribbon or something like that that would hold up well outdoors. I'm just using painter's tape and I spiral it around. Now the stripe's pretty small, so I want to do another set of spirals. So I just start again, kind of trying to place it about halfway between my first set and just working that all the way around, overlapping the bottom and kind of moving them around until they are centered and I am happy with the stripes. And we're just going to go in and paint that faux leather. It's super easy to paint. And so we'll have like that ivory stripe. And then I thought like a beachy blue stripe would be fun. The color I'm using is Apple Barrel Cloudless. I thought that would look really pretty in contrast to that sea glass that we frosted the top of the light with. So I'm just putting a thin coat all over the leather of that beachy blue. Now, the faux leather at Dollar Tree comes in all different shades. They have like ivory, they have brown, they have navy, and they have black. So you can kind of do it to whatever colors that you wanted. I wanted to do another lighthouse DIY video for one of my members on my YouTube channel, Melinda. Her mother, Gail, loved lighthouses, and it's almost the 1-year anniversary of her passing. She was a viewer here on my channel. They watch my channel together, and so I know she wanted me to do another lighthouse DIY. So this one is for you, Melinda. I really hope you enjoy this. And once I get a nice thin coat on this, I did go over it with a second coat because you kind of have to do with really thin coats of acrylic on the leather to make it not too splotchy. And we can start putting together the top while that dries. So the Dollar Tree solar light, I'm just using one of the silver ones. I'm just going to hot glue it to the top of the jar. If I go around like the inner edge, it's going to be perfect. The jar is slightly larger than the solar light, and I'm going to place that right on side. I usually take the little plastic part off on the inside because I don't really want the light focus there. I want the whole jar to light up. And I think this is going to light up really pretty. So if this should be dry, we can go ahead and remove the painter's tape to reveal those great lighthouse stripes. And I think that looks really pretty. I love that color. It's my favorite. As you guys know, I use it all the time. I get that color on Amazon and also at Walmart. And I always have that linked, I think, in my Amazon shop because it's really inexpensive. You can get it for about the same price as Walmart, but get it shipped for you with Prime if you get it on Amazon. And I'm going to use some E6000 since I'm doing glass to glass to try to make it super strong. So I do the E6000 around the outer edge where it's going to have contact with the bottom of the vase that we're going to glue it to. And then for a little quick hold, I'm going to use some hot glue too, just by doing quite a large splotch of it right there in the middle. That way the E6000 can dry and be a little bit more permanent. Now I'm also going to add some rope to this for another coastal touch. It's going to kind of fill in the crevice between the light fixture at the top, or the jar, and the vase itself, and kind of top off the top of the leather part. So I just do one piece of that brown thin rope, hot gluing that all the way around. And I liked that so much that I decided to add more rope to the rest of it. So I'm going to go around the bottom. So just where my seam is on my leather is also going to be the seam on my rope. And I'm going to do one row of the brown rope around the bottom, just hot gluing that to the leather all the way around. And it just kind of finish it off, make it look more finished. Anytime I can add rope or twine or of course shells to something, it's definitely going to up the coastal factor. And then I thought that looked really good. And then I thought that I could actually make the top of the solar light wider to kind of make it more fit with the width of the entire lighthouse, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use some more of that brown rope. And what we're going to do is we're just going to wrap that around the silver solar light here at the top, basically covering all of it. So I start on the back where my seam was, and I'm just hot gluing that all the way around. I'm going to hot glue the whole thing down so it stays in place. And I use the Gorilla Glue hot glue. It usually performs pretty well outside, even with the elements here in Florida. I can't really complain. I think it's going to be great for the rope. But I definitely recommend like a super glue or the E6000 for your glass-to-glass hold to hold the whole thing together. So I just glued that all the way around. It was a little hairy, so I'm going to burn off the fuzzies on this one. And this lighthouse light is complete. This is what it looks like during the daytime. Super pretty with that jar. I think that makes a really cute top for the lighthouse. And look how beautiful that leather looks even painted. I love that because you have that same texture. And then let me show you what the lighthouse looks like lit up at night. I was so impressed the light not only went through the jar, but it also went through the vase. So you can see that the lighthouse itself is illuminated too a little bit. But the main light, of course, is at the top like a lighthouse would be. But that light was super bright in there. It really shined the whole thing up. And I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now, this is another new Shore Living item this year that came in a little bit later. The Shore Living bottles, I'm going to use that with one of the new candle holders from Dollar Tree as well. This one's already got that frosted bluish green color that I love. It's got a shell tied around it. I'm just going to add a solar light to the top of it. I thought that'd be really cute. And this one's going to be really easy. So I'm going to fill it up with some sand. I'm going to use some tan sand. You could probably get away with using white sand too, because you can't really see the color too much in there. And then just some of the little tiny seashells. These are the ones that come in the glass bottles from the Dollar Tree, which I've been having trouble finding. I know a lot of you guys have been having trouble finding that too. But I just checked on Amazon the other day, and you can buy a ton of those for next to nothing on Amazon. So if you can't find them at your Dollar Tree, check on there. You can get just a giant package of them. They're super inexpensive. And just a lot of seashells in the bottom. Again, it's already got like a plastic seashell tied around the neck of it with some raffia. And then I do a bead of hot glue all around the top and just stick the solar light on top. That's going to light it up for a little beachy scene in top. And since it's kind of small, we're going to boost it up and make it like a little outdoor light fixture by using one of these candle holders. This is like a glossy ivory color. I'm going to use some E6000 and hot glue in combination to attach this. I probably should have done that the other way. I don't know what I was thinking on that, but it worked. We got that glued on. And then I also want to give a little bit more texture. It's got the raffia on there, but I thought a little burlap would be cute too. So I'm just going to cut the burlap roll from the Dollar Tree and make my own size ribbon that's going to be the same width as the top of the solar light, and just hot glue that to the back of it and wrap it around. The metal looks fine, but anytime I can add like a little bit of a rope or a burlap touch, I'm going to do it because I think it looks really pretty and coastal. So it's like a little lamp for outside. I think it turned out really cute. This is what it looks like during the day. That little plastic shell on there is pretty cute. And they had these in like darker blue. They had them in frosted green. They had those in lots of different options. And again, those came in a little later with the Shore Living items at my Dollar Tree. But as you can see, it looks really pretty in the day. And let me show you how it looks all lit up at night. I had to take these solar lights outside today to try to charge them so that I could show you these projects lit up at night. I love that bottle. I think it's really cute, and there's so many uses that you could use with that. Now, the next DIY, I'm just going to take one of the Dollar Tree mason jars and one of their hanging lids that has like a cutout. This one's a star. It doesn't really matter. You're not going to be able to see it. And a Dollar Tree solar light. Again, I don't really like the black color. I don't think that looks coastal. So we're just going to paint it. I'm going to use that same Sand Dollar Rust-Oleum color spray paint that I've used on other solar lights, and I am going to spray just the top of the lid and the handle that ivory color. You can always paint with acrylic if you don't have spray paint, but I kind of had it out. It was all set up. I might as well use it. And it works pretty good on metal. Now we can start preparing the jar. It's just a regular size mason jar. It's going to fit that lid that we got there. And then I'm going to combine it with some of the fairy garden beach items that I got this year. This is like the little beach lounge chair with the hat. And there's even like a little beach sign. I think there's going to be plenty of room in the mason jar for both of them. I don't want them to move around or anything once I get it together, so I just attach them with hot glue to the bottom of my jar, making sure the numbers and stuff like that is on the back of the jar, so that won't be the front. And just hot glue both of those in place on the bottom of the jar, just like that. And they have so many fun options. You could do like seahorses, sea turtles, sand castles. They have so many cute things. And then I'm going to fill in the beachy area with Dollar Tree sand, kind of shaking it around, making sure that I have enough to cover the bases, but not too much. I don't want to cover up those cute decorations. And then just clean up them with a dry paintbrush. We'll get the sand off of them. And then this is the white lid. I'm just going to put it on there and screw this into place. It was a little tricky getting it started, but it definitely fit on there just fine. And now you can add the solar light. It can shine through that cutout on the top of the hanger. So the hanger is going to allow me to hang this up. And then the cutout is going to allow the light to shine through. I just do hot glue in between each one of the rays of the star and sit my solar light right there on top. The solar light is the silver. I could have painted it, but I'm actually just going to cover that with burlap too. So I'm just going to cut another piece of burlap ribbon down to size. I do cut off the edges on these because I like it to look all frayed. And since I'm cutting it skinnier than it normally is. And I was trying to start that one. Did not want to start. I'm just going to have to cut it. And I just cut a strip that's going to be wide enough to cover that again. And I think that's going to look good. It's going to make it less of a contrast between the silver and the ivory lid, kind of make it look more intentional. And I just attach that by hot gluing it to the back and overlapping it. Super easy solar light DIY. You can hang this from a hook. You can hang this from a tree. You could sit it around on a table or on the ground. It's going to look cute. It has so many different uses, very versatile. And a great use for those little mason jar lids from the Dollar Tree. And anytime I can use some of those little fairy garden beach items, I am definitely going to. I think they're so cute. The little sign says beach welcome. It's got the little beach chair with the hat. And this is what it looks like lit up at night. It was super bright. With that star cut out, plenty of room to shine the light through. And the burlap definitely disguises that silver finish. It really looks way more intentional. It makes the jar look a little bit taller as well. Now this DIY is so simple. I picked up one of these little canister jars from the Dollar Tree. It's a square shape and it's nice and kind of flat. And I picked up some more fairy garden items. This is the flamingo and the palm tree. And then the only one I have left is one of the black solar lights. So we're going to make that work by attaching it to the inside of the lid. Again, I don't want these guys to fall over once I put it together. So I just hot glue down the flamingo and the palm tree, kind of alternating them left and right so you can see both of them from the front. And then again, just using some Dollar Tree tan sand to fill in the beachy area like that. And I didn't want to use anything too tall because we're actually going to have the solar light inside this jar since it has the hinged lid and it's going to fit in there. So I just make sure I have enough sand, and then I can't have a beach without seashells. So I'm just going to scatter out some more of those little tiny seashells from the Dollar Tree. And then it's just a matter of attaching this to the inside of the lid. you're not really going to be able to see it. So I think black's going to be fine on this. I just put some hot glue around all four sides and glue that to the top of the jar like that. It's plenty wide enough to fit it inside. It's going to protect the solar light as well and keep it nice and dry, but it's still going to allow the sunshine to get to it and charge the solar light. So this was a super easy solar light DIY, really versatile. If you wanted to hang it, you totally could. Wrap some twine around there and make a hanger very easily, but I think this would be really cute for just like a little side table or even on the ground or patio area. And the flamingo looks really cute, lit up here at night. Very tropical, and I love pink flamingos. I'm going to have to do another pink flamingo DIY video for you guys. I know I have a lot of pink flamingo fans out there, just like me. But it was really easy DIY to make, and I really had so much fun putting these solar lights together for you. Have you checked out my new website? It's craftybeach.net. I just started this website around Easter. So what I have on there right now is Easter, spring, and of course, coastal beach. And it's going to be a blog where you can go down, click on an individual post, and you're going to get to see a picture of all the DIYs I made in that video that you can then pin on Pinterest so you can remember to make them. If you scroll down to the bottom, you can find the corresponding video with directions on how I made it. I'm going to have everything organized by season, and I even have a link to my Amazon store on there if you're looking for items that I used in my videos or that I recommended. And I even have a link to my Etsy shop if you want some of my fun crafting, little meme printables, or decor. So craftybeach.net. Be sure to check it out. I'm really excited about this new website, and I think it's going to be a really great source for your DIYs. Now, the next set of solar light DIYs, we're going to have 10 more. And these are 10 coastal solar light DIYs that I made last year on my channel, but they're super cute, so I wanted to include them in today's video. For the first DIY, I'm going to be using some of the Shore Living plastic shell plates. I did not see those this year. Did you guys see these? I'm hoping maybe you have some left over from last year, or maybe you were able to find them, but this is one of my favorite solar light DIYs, so I absolutely had to include it in today's video. And I want to combine them with one of those little Dollar Tree baseballs and light that up with a solar light so it kind of looks like, you know, like a pearl inside of an oyster. It's kind of an idea I had, and I thought we could maybe pull it off if I can find a way to light up the ball with it. Now, I don't want this to stand out like too much. This is just the very top of the solar light from the Dollar Tree, and it's silver. They come in like silver and black, I think. I just go over and paint like all the silver parts just white with some white acrylic paint just to kind of make it blend in like a little bit with the ball. It is going to have to stick out from the shape of the pearl. There was really no way around that, but I think if I paint it white a little bit, it will make it blend in a little bit. So I want to go ahead and start constructing this thing. Now, originally I wanted to drill a hole in the middle and try to attach it to the stake. So I just used a screw to drill a hole in the middle. You might want to use a drill bit because the plastic does kind of split on these pretty easily. But I'm also just going to drill some extra holes in the bottom so that it won't hold water just because of the shape of the shell. I think it might hold water if it doesn't have some drainage holes. Now, again, I was going to attach it to the stake, the little, you know, light came on, and I was gonna try to do that with like screwing it into clay inside the pole, but I started it, but I just didn't think it was gonna work. So I'm just gonna weigh it down with just a wood circle from the Dollar Tree, just because it's so lightweight. I don't want it like tipping over, and I want to be able to use this outside. If I find a way to attach it to a stick, I'll have to let you guys know, but I just use a Dollar Tree screw, screw that down into the wood. That way I kind of have just a steady base that I can kind of build it. Then I had to figure out how I'm going to be able to put the two shells together to make them look like one and make it look like it's open. So what I decided was I could screw them on. This project took me a while because at first I tried wiring them and that didn't really work. And so the screwing method worked way better. But what I just do is I go in and drill 3 holes. I thought that would probably make it sturdier. Right here at the back of the base. Like that. And then I'm going to go in the top of the shell and do like the same 3 holes on that. You might want to mark it so you get them all in the right spot. I think I got like 2 in the right spot. So I did have to kind of fix it. But I want to kind of match those holes up together so we can put this together to make a nice strong piece. Now I didn't really have like any short screws that would be able to work through there. All I had was like the Dollar Tree screws there. Like they were kind of like a medium size. And so that's what we're going to use. They're going to be a little too long, but that's okay. I just go ahead and fix my holes so they line up properly. And then using those screws, I'm going to screw all the way through. Since the holes were already like pre-drilled in the plastic, it's going to be a lot safer. I don't want to break my dishes. So that's another reason I'm going to use just a manual screwdriver instead of my power drill, because I didn't want to split the plastic or anything like that. I mean, it's fairly strong, but you know, working with it like this, maybe not so much. So just a matter of getting your holes to line up for this. And I'm just screwing from the inside of the shell back. And yes, the screws do stick out in the back. I'll show you how I overcame that. But it actually worked pretty well. It seems pretty strong like this. So here is my 3rd and final screw. Just try to make sure you get it all lined up, got those all tight. And these are the screws that are pointing out of the back. So I have that clay that I was going to use to try to make it into a stake. So I thought I would just use that. Just air dry clay from the Dollar Tree. I just put it over my screws. But again, if you had screws that were shorter, it might work better. Or even if you had like a machine screw with like a nut, that would work as well. But we're going to work with what we've got here. And I got to this point, and I love like the iridescence of the shell. I was trying to decide if I wanted to paint it or not. The little plastic ball is white already. It does have the little lines on it, but that's okay. You know, it's not exactly like a pearl, but hey, it came from the Dollar Tree, so we'll make it work. And I just drill a hole right in there with one of my larger drill bits so I can stick the little light bulb down inside to light up our pearl like that. And that way it'll make it really easy. If I need to change out solar lights, I can just pop it off and pop another one on. This is when I realized that I probably do want to paint it. So I probably should have done this step before I put it on a base. So I just unscrew it from the base so that we can paint the back of the shells. I kind of wanted it to make it look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just mixing together some ivory acrylic and some antique wax by Waverly and get me a nice like tan color. And I'm just going all over with this with a brush, trying to get in all the places. I'm not using a chalk paint or anything like that, but I actually did get pretty good coverage. And that allowed me to paint over like the, you know, clay part too there. To kind of cover that up where we made the little screw cover. And I do that on the top here as well. But I'm going to leave the inside that beautiful iridescent, like it would look like inside of a shell. That's kind of what I'm going for. And I think that kind of brings it out more when you paint the back of these. So I'm glad that I decided to do that. Once I got that dry with the tan, I just go over it with ivory and a chunky brush. And we're just going to try to bring out all that great detail on the shell by just stressing that on there. Just a pretty simple paint job, but you guys know I love DIYing with these shell plates from the Shore Living line at Dollar Tree, and I I love making these shells and kind of making them look a little bit more realistic. So this is another DIY with that. Now, I know a lot of you guys are saying that your shore living items are gone at your Dollar Tree, but I wanted to remind you to keep checking because like I was just at a Dollar Tree today that didn't put the items out until after Easter, and they just put more stuff out today. So they might still have some. I also went in and just painted the base that same tan color just to make it blend in. And look how cool it looks now with that like shell background with that beautiful iridescence inside. I think it's so pretty. So I'm just going to use my screw it back onto my base. And you know, you could probably use this down in your landscaping with a base like that instead of a stake. It might tip over if it's windy though. I actually ended up putting mine on a table next to my front door, so it's a little bit protected and it looks so cute. So here's our little pearl. Now I wanted something kind of weatherproof, so I picked up some of this super glue epoxy from the Dollar Tree to try to glue down our little pearl inside of our shell. It didn't want to work too good, but I did get a little bit in there, mixed it up. And, you know, it's kind of wet, so it wasn't going to dry like quickly like I needed to. So I did use a little bit of hot glue as well, just trying to make sure they didn't really touch the glues. And then I just positioned my little pearl kind of like with the little solar light leaning over to the side to kind of make it look intentional. And there it is. What do you guys think about this little solar light DIY? I think it is so whimsical and fun. This is what it looks like in the daylight. So it's still like super cute in the daylight, super sparkly with our little pearl in there as well. And then I will also show you what it looks like outside on my front porch. I did try it in my landscaping as well, and I actually liked it there a little bit better, but I thought with the base I made it as, look how beautiful this looks at night. And this is what it looks like on a table next to my front door. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. And a really fun idea if you have some leftover like I do from last year. Okay, next DIY. Check out this like iridescent square jar I found at the Dollar Tree. I thought this would be really pretty. I thought that iridescence would really show off nicely with the solar light. So we're going to DIY this and make a cute little beach jar with this that lights up at night with the solar light. I'm going to use Fairy Garden. I was trying to decide what I wanted to use in this, and I decided on the sea turtle. It's nice and big, and really that's the only piece it needs in there because the jar itself's not real big. So I think that's going to be perfect in there. And so I'm just going to glue that to the bottom of the jar with just a little bit of hot glue. I wanted to make it look like a little bit of a beach scene. So we have our little sea turtle with coral. And then I'm just going to use some of that Dollar Tree like tan sand and sprinkle some in there to kind of cover the base of the jar, but not too high. And then for a little decor, I'm going to sprinkle in some of those little tiny seashells that come in the little glass bottles from the Dollar Tree. Just a variety kind of all over to make it look like a little beach scene in there. Like that. Now the opening to this jar is a little bit larger than the top of the solar light. So I'm going to show you what I did to make it where I can still use it by using some Dollar Tree rope. So the rope is going to serve two purposes. It's going to cover like the screw on part there on the glass for the lid to make that look more finished. And so I'm just going to keep going around the outside to cover that part first. And this is that same Dollar Tree rope. I think this is the thinner brown one. It doesn't really matter which one you use though. But then I'm going to start here at the top, just slightly gluing it to itself, going in a little bit each time to make it like a smaller diameter so that the light will now fit inside. So that's what we have at this point. And then I'm going to just kind of finagle that little solar light cap until it fits in there kind of by friction to hold it in place. just kind of fixing the rope. I did get it a little tight, so I kind of pulled it apart a little bit there to get it all together. But I think that's good, and I can always change the top for this. This was my son's favorite, and so he got this for like a little nightlight for his room. I'm thinking you can recharge the solar panels on the top with regular light. So I think it might work for a nightlight. It looks really cute next to his bed. But this is how it looks like during the daylight, our little sea turtle in coral and our little sandy beach below. So it's super cute at the daytime, and this is what it looks like at night. It looks really cool all lit up because it's got like that iridescent kind of glow to it too, which I think kind of gives a fun like little under the sea vibe to our little sea turtle. Now up next, I'm going to be using a Shore Living candle holder. I can still find these occasionally at my store, but I'm not sure if they had them this year with the Shore Living line, but it goes so fast I'm not positive. But they've had this the past couple of years. It'd be pretty easy to recreate. It's just twine and one of those little starfish, just like the ones I get on Amazon. So I wanted to make this into a tiny little coastal solar light. So I just filled it up with some Dollar Tree sand, and again, using some of those little tiny shells that are jarred from the Dollar Tree, just scattering in an assortment to make it look beachy inside, because you can kind of see in through the sides on this one if you look over the twine. And then I kind of want to make it look coastal again for the top of it. So I find it might be a little bit easier to do this while it's still attached to the stake. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go around the sides of this, attaching it with hot glue. That's just going to make this really easy to remove if I need to and make it look nice and coastal here on the top. I think the brown rope is one of my favorite ways to disguise them. But I am going to show you some different solar lights they also have from the Dollar Tree, and even one from the Dollar General, because I got to 19 and I needed one more solar light. And actually the ones from Dollar General are 25 cents cheaper because they're only $1. So once I get it all wrapped, I'm just going to hot glue it onto the top of our little beach scene. And I don't do a handle or anything on this one. This is just going to be a little solar light that you can sit around just about anywhere, and it's a great use for one of those jars. If you don't want to use it for a candle holder, you can use it outside and use it as a little solar light. If you wanted to line like a path with these, that'd be really cute too. You'd probably want to weigh them down a little bit though, with maybe some pebbles or something like that. But this is how it looks lit up at night. I love that beautiful like blue color. And it's already got the twine and the starfish on there, so it's already very coastal. And then the addition of our little rope light on the top. And it was super easy to put together. Now for the next one, I have a battery operated light there, but I'm actually going to end up using a solar light on this one as well. I thought this would look really pretty with that pattern on the side. This is another Dollar Tree jar with like that crisscross pattern. The first thing I'm going to do is fill it in with some Dollar Tree sand, give me a beachy sandy bottom. I just kind of want to do colors on this for the beach scene because you're not going to be able to see the details inside because of that cool pattern on it. But I thought some of these little glass beads or glass gems from the Dollar Tree would be really pretty. These are the ones that are like that blue glass that's like see-through, but also the white ones are more opaque. So I really want you to be able to see like the light through the glass. So I'm actually going to separate mine into like the blue glass marble ones and not use the like opaque white ones. And I kind of want just to kind of fill it up, make it look like ocean water, like sitting on top of the sand to kind of give an ocean feel. And using a little solar light from the Dollar Tree, that's going to fit on there pretty well on top of the jar. I did decide I wanted a little bit more of the gemstones. You could also do that with the sea glass that they have at the Dollar Tree. I'm not a big fan of the colors that comes in, though. I think this is prettier, this blue color. Now, I want this to be able to hang up. So before I attach the solar light, I'm going to go ahead and take some Dollar Tree twine and hot glue a little rope hanger on this one so that I can make this a hanging light like that. Now, once I have that on there, I can go ahead and hot glue on my solar light top. And I really just like using the tops for these. That just leaves a little exposed light bulb inside that will light up all of your DIYs. Now I want to kind of hide the sides of the solar light and kind of make the handles go straight up. So I'm going to kind of sandwich those under the Dollar Tree rope. I'm using the brown rope for this one. And I'm going around the glass first. And then I'm also going to do like the sides of the solar light. So this one's probably not as removable, but since it's glass and I'm gonna hang it, I want it to be strong and I don't want it to break. So that's why I glued the rope on both parts and not just the top of this one. So just making sure my hanger stays towards the top. I'm just going to keep going around it until all of the sides of the solar light are covered with the rope. This is like the one that has like the prettiest design at night. It's so beautiful. I have this one out in my Florida room right now and I'm really enjoying this one. So it took quite a bit, but that should be enough to cover the sides of the jar and the sides of the solar light. And we have a little hanging jar. It is a little on the heavy side with all of those little glass gems inside of it. And let me show you how this one looks. So we have our little ocean water on top of our sand. So you're getting that like slight coastal vibe. So it looks really pretty in the daytime. This is what it looks like in the daytime with the beautiful like rope top, kind of hanging like a buoy or something like that. But then all of those beautiful blue gemstones, they look really pretty during the daytime with a little sandy bottom, give you that beach feel. And this is the beautiful design it has at night. Isn't that amazing? The combination of the gemstones and then that crisscross pattern. And I think they have this in a few different jars at Dollar Tree with the crisscross pattern. I think they have a square one too. Both would be really pretty for a solar light DIY. I also wanted to show you what it looks like out in my Florida room. This is it sitting on my coffee table out there. It's just glorious. I love it. Okay, we have another solar light DIY. This is a little jar, I guess a little candle holder from the Dollar Tree. I think it looks coastal though because it has like the little jute twine handle already on it. So I thought we could try to do a solar light kind of on a smaller scale. But again, using some of these little fairy garden figurines from the Dollar Tree. This one just had like 3 different kinds of seashells. They're all really pretty and well painted. And so I think 3 is going to fit perfectly in this size jar. So I'm just hot gluing those to the bottom to make sure those stay in place. And we can make a small little solar light. This would be great on a little table or for like party decor or something like that. This would actually be really cute inside your house too if you could keep your solar light charged. So there's our little 3 seashells. Gonna cover the bottom again with a little bit of that Dollar Tree brown sand. I kind of like the brown better than the white, but you could use the white as well. Then I thought I would try a different option to cover the sides of the solar light. I'm going to use one of these little burlap bags from the Dollar Tree just because it's so easy to cut and DIY with. And I'm just going to cut out a strip about the same size as the side of the solar light. And I'm just going to cover that with burlap. I think the burlap's going to look like nice and coastal, but it's going to kind of give us a cleaner, different feel than the rope that we've been using on a lot of these solar light DIYs. So just gluing that all the way around to cover up the top of that. Now I can take the top of the little solar light off, again, just the top, and attach that to the top of the jar. It is a really good fit on this one. And since this one doesn't have like a screw lid on there, there's nothing really to cover up with that. And so this was a great reason to use the burlap. And I just attached that with hot glue. Again, I am using hot glue on purpose on these just because if I want to be able to switch the little solar lights, I totally can. And here it is, our little kind of smaller scale seashell light. I think this is going to be really pretty. I'm using this. I kind of lined these on the dining table out in my Florida room. I think they look so cute. This is how the little seashell jar looks during the day. As you can see, those little seashells from the Dollar Tree, beautiful colors, and see how well they're painted. And this is what it looks like lit up at night. It's nice and bright because it's a nice small jar, but I think it's super coastal and cute. And it does have a handle, so you could always hang it as well if you needed to. Just another small solar light DIY that you could display just about anywhere. Okay, now I showed you these before. This is a different kind of the solar lights from the Dollar Tree. We're going to actually use these as solar lights, but I wanted to show you a fun, easy way to DIY them as soon as I figure out how to put this thing together. I did it. Okay, so these are great. I don't think I've ever really seen these at the Dollar Tree before, but they have these in silver and black. They are like the long cylinder tube-like ones, and I thought they would look really pretty in my landscaping. Put one on each corner so you can kind of see that at night. And I thought a quick, easy way to decorate the sides of that where it glows is to use some of these glass stickers from the Dollar Tree. And these are some of the new ones from this year. I thought like a sea turtle, a little crab, and trying to figure out what I have room for, maybe a dolphin. Just so easy. You could really use any kind of sticker. I think the glass stickers may be a little bit more see-through. I did not have the problems with the bubbling on these. Maybe because they're smaller, maybe because it's more opaque. I'm not sure. But I just pop the bottom back on mine. And again, we're just going to use these as stakes. I think they're nice and elegant. I really like the style on these. And I think those little stickers look great because they have like a gray or silver dots on them already. So this is how it looks sitting without the stand during the daylight. So you could always just pop the stand off and have a little standing light like this as well, which would be super cute if you did not need to stake it to the ground. Another great thing about the design of these. But this is how it looks staked into my landscaping out front of my house. And it was so easy to put together and inexpensive. I really like those. I liked the silver ones more than the ones with the black. So I actually got two of them. So this one is going to be, I'm going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it for the other side of my landscaping. And again, we're just going to use some of those glass stickers from the Dollar Tree. Online, they have the same glass stickers as last year with the Shore Living line, but in the stores, they have these different ones. And I love them both, but this year they had the smaller ones, like the sea creatures that we just used, and then these corals. So it's great for like a smaller project like this. Now that tag can be a little bit hard to get off. I just used a little Goo Gone to get all the residue off to make sure that's nice and clean. And then I thought we could fill this one up with coral. So it'd be a little different than the other one, but still super easy to just peel and stick these little glass stickers on the side. And if you're real creative, you could paint something on there as well. I'll go with someone else's art. And so I think 3 again would be a good number for this one. Just kind of decorating every side so it is cute from all directions. That's all there is to it. Another super easy Dollar Tree little DIY. I do go back and add some bubbles because, hey, why not? We're under the sea here, right? And I tried a starfish, but it didn't want to cooperate. I think that is really pretty. And I've used these coral stickers on a planter out front too, so it'll coordinate nicely with those. And look how pretty that looks in the daytime. So it's really decorative, more decorative than if you just left it plain silver and plastic. And then let me show you what this looks like all lit up in my landscaping. This is my favorite out of the two that I did. I really like the colors on this, and I really like the coral details. Nobody would know that these came from the Dollar Tree for real. So pretty and so easy. So I really only needed 2 of those, so I think those 2 are going to work great. Okay, let's move on to some fun stuff. Now, this is a little party cup from the Dollar Tree that's supposed to light up, but mine doesn't, but oh well, because we're going to light it up with a solar light anyway. I just got to figure out how to do this. Now, this would be a really fun, whimsical decoration, or this would be a great party decoration if you were doing a luau or a tropical theme, but we just got to figure out how to attach a solar light to the palm leaves on the top of this cup. But we have to leave the little solar panel open so that the sun can recharge our little light. So I think really the only way that's going to work is just to cut all the leaves down into individual pieces, and then we can attach those to the solar light like that. And so they'll still come down like the edges of the tree. I'm going to leave the cup blue because I think it's fun and beachy. And I'm going to leave these green as well. So this was really easy to put together as well. I'm just going to use this like a party decor, but it also looks really fun out in my Florida room anyway, because I kind of have a tropical feel out there. So I could kind of use this year round. But I wanted to show you all the cool things you could do with solar lights with the plastic cups from the Dollar Tree that they have out now for the summer. Now, just to weigh it down to make it not so cheap and plastic-like, I don't want it tipping over, I just use some of those white pebbles and just go up a little ways in that to weigh down the base. And then I'm going to replace the top of it with this. Now, I actually made this DIY. Well, this is one of the first ones that I made. And so, yeah, as you can see, I forgot to take off the little plastic piece there because I hadn't learned, because this lights up so much better without that little piece of the solar light that concentrates the light in one area. So I do pop that off later to fix that. So that's why I did that. And so now I just want to go ahead and attach all 6 of the little palm leaves. And so easy. You have a little bit of room around the edges where you can hot glue those on. And if you do block the solar panel, you're not going to be blocking very much. So I kind of go opposite sides, so those will be even, and then I'll do 2 on each side in between. And this worked out really well. It looks really fun and tropical, but again, it's nice and functional because it lights up with the solar panel. So it is fully constructed, our little blue palm tree. So fun. The solar light fits perfectly on the side, on the top of that jar. But this is me popping it off so that I can get that little plastic piece out of there, because it lights up the whole cup without it and not just a little part of it. So remember to take those things off, an important step in these DIYs. I'm just going to clean up the hot glue and then glue it right back on. So one reason why I'm using the hot glue on these, as you can see, it does make it possible to remove them if you need to. But you do need to have them attached so they will kind of stay together. Wouldn't this really be really cute, like on a tropical luau party table? And it would be functional because at night it would light up as well. This would be really cute to line your path to a luau too, something like that, because they're nice and tall, and especially if you weigh them down like that at the bottom. And this is how it looks during the daytime. Our little solar light palm tree. They have these in different colors. If you don't like the color of yours, you might be able to change the color, but I kind of like the clear plastic because the light comes through it well. And this is how it looks out in my Florida room at night. It's very bright now that I took out that one little part of the solar light. And it seemed to do just fine in my Florida room, but if you're going to use it outside, I don't know if the hot glue is going to keep the leaves on. You might want to use a little bit of a stronger glue for that. Now, this is another one of the summer cups from the Dollar Tree that I thought would be really fun to do. You could do like a little summer beach theme with these, but I think it'd also be really great for a party or a luau. But we've used rope a lot, so I want to try to use some different ways to disguise the sides of the little solar lights. So this is some of that spring ribbon and that bright pink color. I think that's going to coordinate nicely with our little flamingo. And the top of that cup is just about the right size for one of these little solar lights to fit right on top. And you're going to have a little light up flamingo light, which is really fun. I like decorate with flamingos year-round. You guys know me. So I also think that if you did a bunch of these and strung them together like party lights, or if you strung them together like we did the seashells, it would look really cute. I'm just going to do one to kind of show you how it will look for fun. But that's how it looks at this point. Now, I do want to kind of disguise the little area where I unscrewed the lid. And I wanted to try a different kind of rope. So this is some of that white nautical rope from the Dollar Tree. Kind of the thicker, so it doesn't take much, right? Just to kind of see if you get a different vibe by using a different rope. And I think so. I think that white contrasts nicely with our little pink flamingo too. And now we can just glue on the top, which is the little solar light with the pink ribbon on it. And how easy is that? If you're like preparing for a party, I'm just going to make mine a little table decoration, which would look great on a party table. But if you wanted to make yours hung or strung them all up, I think that would be so cute too. This is how our little flamingo looks during the daytime, so he's super cute and tropical. Now, when he lights up at night, I notice most of him lights up. Maybe not his head so much, but let me show you how he looks at night as well. Nice and bright and pink. And wouldn't that look cute if you like strung these up as party lights? I think that would look really fun. Very whimsical. And you know, I love decorating for like luau, tiki parties, stuff like that. I think that would be great for it, but I also think this little plastic cup from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. They have these in all different colors. They have these small cups like this. They also have the large ones that you could use as well. And since they're that blue plastic, it's going to make it glow nice and blue. And you're going to get that fun little tiki face in there. Reminds me of Hawaii. And I thought we would try something different to cover the sides of the solar light because we've used rope a lot. So let's try using one of these like little spring purses from the Dollar Tree. I think this always gives me like a nice like seagrass look. Kind of what I was going for on this one was kind of like a little bit of a grass skirt vibe, but on a very small scale to kind of cover up the top parts of the solar light. So I'm just cutting around just to cut strips out of this. And I think that's going to work really fun. It's going to go with the theme of this, like the little luau tiki theme. So I'm going to use one piece to cover with the screw part of where I took the lid off this little cup. And they had these in all different colors. It'd be cute if you lined these up, different colors, or these would look really cute if you strung them up as well. I'm just going to try to do some party table decor for these. Now I'm going to use that same little purse from the Dollar Tree and cover the sides of the solar light as well. It is going to take a couple strips to go all the way around. And definitely disguises that and makes it look more intentional with like that grass skirt vibe. It's going to go more with the theme. I did kind of want to cover it all the way, so I'm going to do a third row, just kind of overlapping them as I go. And I think that looks pretty cool. So we're just going to pop that off, the little solar stake. And again, we're just going to attach it to the top. But I don't want it to fall over because it's just plastic again. And so I'm just going to put some white pebbles in the bottom, just something to weigh it down, but not something that you're really going to be able to see from the outside. I don't want to take away from that cool pattern. And this one looks so cool when you light it up at night because it gives you that fun tiki pattern and the light pattern when you light it up. So I just attached that with hot glue. And I think that little purse worked great to cover the top of it. This is how our little tiki cup looks during the daytime. Still super cute and really themed. I have several luau videos on my channel. If you're looking to throw a luau party with supplies from the Dollar Tree, I've got some really fun ideas for you, but this would go nicely. See how it kind of gives you that face glow pattern like all over the place? So very detailed, and it's so bright at night with the solar light inside, and this would definitely be perfect for a night-themed tiki party. Okay, that was 20 coastal solar light Dollar Tree DIYs. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Be sure to comment your favorite solar light DIY in the comments below, or just come say hello. I love reading your comments. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do. We are growing here on YouTube. Enjoy the final reveal.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us. If we just hold on tight, this vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. If we just hold on tight, this vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. Ooh, we are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got, and when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore. Are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. It breaks in my heart, it's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. Face it, you think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors. I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. And throw our problems in the flames. Ooh, throw our problems in the flame. I get a little bit breathless. My thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore. 7 years now on this boat, and we all know where we belong. Just wait. For our home to show on the horizon, soon we'll be there. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore. I get a little bit breathless, my thoughts are too big. Can I get some comfort, please? I guess I should have been honest. It breaks in my heart, it's weighing me down, baby. I'm like a river that's overflowed. The sooner you know it, the less do we hurt. Let me speak the truth. I know you don't want to face it, you think it's too late, but I can see past the rain. Won't you lay it on me? Turn the page and burn it. Let's make up a big bonfire on the beach with the stars as our lighters, and throw our problems in the flame. Throw our problems in the flame. We fell down to the bottom, so bottom up please. We're gonna get over this. I see the smoke in the mirrors, I'm holding the key, one step away from salvation. You're like the ocean, setting me free. Out in the open, I'm picking up speed. No bad thoughts penetrate. Hold me like this is the first time. Our destiny calls, not leaving this incomplete. Won't you lay?
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's video. That always helps my videos do better here on YouTube. And I wanted to give a huge thank you to all of my Crafty Beach Bum members for supporting my channel. Thank you to Karen O'Haron, Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Susan Edmonds, Tracy Knight, Nancy Wunner, Julie Miller, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Maria Grace, Donna Schreiner, Sandy C., Debbie DeLay, and Ariana's Mama. Thank you so much for supporting my channel. If you'd like to become a Crafty Beach Bum member, it's $4.99 a month. You can cancel anytime, and you're going to get early ad-free access to my videos. It's just a quick, easy way for you to support me here on YouTube. Now, I promised you guys more solar light DIYs. Here's another video of 20 more coastal solar light Dollar Tree DIYs.